Alright, what's up, guys? This is going to be lecture 11. What we're going to be going over today is phases. So, first, let's talk about what phases are. As you work on a construction project, you have different sections of work that you need to go through. And some of those include preparation of the site and then cleanup of the site. So, as an example of a car dealership I was working at that had a major expansion to it, the first thing that they did was they actually came in, paved over a huge area as their first initial phase, and then added extra driveways so that they could then get us still to work while we were working. And then after that, they then moved to other phases of the project that included actually building the building that they wanted to build. And then the final phase included removing some of the stuff they initially built. So the reason that you need to do this is because there's often times where you need to document. Well, I mean, the point of construction documentation is that you need to document your plans and coordinate things with different teams on site, as well as get permits and things approved. So um, while traditionally in the class that or in the classes that you're taking, you're mostly going to be working on what would be considered new construction. It is important for you to understand demolition phases as well. So, but let me jump back. There's one thing I want to show you. Well, similar to that. So right now here I have what was the construction template loaded. And so down here at the bottom of the properties browser, you can see here that there's phase. And this is one of the reasons I told you guys to avoid the construction template is right now the phase has project completion. You can see that they've got a whole bunch of other phases. So in the case of this construction template, the idea is that you would start at the existing phase where whatever's built on site, you would then demo it and modify it to whatever it needs to be. You would then come in, build substructure, superstructure, exterior, interior, and then once all that's kind of finished, you need to then go to like final finishings, bringing in furniture, and then whatever closeout your project might entail. But the other thing I wanted to highlight was the reason why I wanted you guys to stay away from this construction template is if you go to level 2 right here, you can see that the phase here for this is superstructure, and each of the different floor plans changes what phase it's on, and that kind of becomes a nightmare when you're trying to go through and say, okay, we'll just hop to level 2. Well, now you've got to deal with clearing out all these weird or changing over your phases. So let me close this, and I should have. This is the template you guys have been working with, the architecture template. And so right now, what we've been working in has exclusively been new construction. So, um, all right. So let me get into actually what that kind of process looks like here. So right now I have my level 1. I'm going to zoom in here and I'm going to drop this wall right here. So then if I go right click on my level 1, duplicate view, we'll get into that kind of process. And then let me rename these. So this is level 1, new construction, sure. And this is level 1, existing. So if I have these two, new construction and existing, and I change this phase to existing, that what was there is going to disappear. And so you have to kind of think of the phases as a timeline. As you begin working on a project, you start at the existing, let me do this, your view, existing, and then there's whatever happens after that, whatever happens after that, etc. So think of it as a timeline where, because that wall that I put down there and here in the new construction is after the existing, it disappears when I go in and change that. Okay. Um, okay. So over here on manage and then phasing, there's a button for phases. So if you click on that, it'll show you what phases are available in the project. Um, if you ever have any issue with phases at the start of a project, the easiest thing to do is just come in and delete everything. Um, and let me see. Now I'm forgetting how to. Oh, right, it's combined. You don't delete. So what you would do is just merge everything together. It kind of simplifies the whole process. So if I was to just do combine with previous, now if I hit apply and OK, both of these, both of my floor plans here are going to be sitting on the same values for the phase because there's only now one phase. Um, I should turn that off. Alright, so let me go in here and actually add a couple. So right now I have existing selected and I have the only option is insert. So I can insert before or after. I'm going to insert after. So this is existing. And so let's go back to that project I mentioned earlier. So this is going to be my phase 1 construction. So we'll call this site prep. And just as a description, existing site prep is getting ready. I don't need to capitalize that. Ready for construction. Throwing another one here for. Let's see. I guess old or existing demo. So maybe we're getting rid of old structures. And then this will be, let's see, new construction, the building, oops, there we go, building we want to build, and then this would be closeout demo, so getting rid of extra stuff. Alright, just to simplify that. So hit apply, and now when we check the phase values over here, we can see that all those new sections are there. And it is entirely possible for a project to have dozens of phases. There are hospital projects that span over a decade, where you may be going in and constantly removing things to put new things in different phases across the entire campus. So just be aware that this is something that you probably will not touch on a lot in your education, but becomes a much bigger factor kind of out in the road. So let's get to actually using this now that I've kind of rambled on for the last 10 minutes, 7 minutes. All right, so let's just continue with what I've got here. So I've got these walls. This is my existing structure that I have on site. And any doors and windows that you place into the existing, or any doors and windows that you place are generally going to come in on whatever section that you place them in. So right here, we're in existing, oh no, sorry. Which floor plan? Oh yeah, because I didn't change this yet. Let me delete or let me rename this. So whatever phase you're on is what section they're going to come in on. So the phase after this, we'll rename this one to site prep. Just for the sake of consistency, I like having all of my my floor plan views match what phase they are. It helps me keep track of things. You can always go back and rename it later, but being able to actually work with that and go, okay, I need to put in something for this exact phase. Let me go to that phase, and you'll kind of see why that's important once we get into multiples here. So I've got existing, site prep, and then we'll get to existing demo because we don't need to kind of go through 17 different processes here. So actually, we should go to new construction. So this is existing demo. Rename to existing demo. And unfortunately, they don't all sort themselves the way the phases are ordered. And then new construction, so we'll go to that. Rename new construction. All right. So, and then we'll go back through existing demo. We'll just set all these up. New construction and site prep. So, in this kind of imaginary scenario, I'll take what I kind of mentioned earlier. So maybe we've got, and I'm just going to pretend that this is a giant parking lot. Um, so our structure has some sort of weird parking space here or something. And then, so then after that, we need to do site prep. So let's say that whatever we're doing here needs some sort of initial back road here so that we can access the area. So, and in some cases, what you might be looking at is, in fact, there's construction of a secondary building. Um, I had mentioned hospitals earlier, and one of the things hospitals need to do is keep working. So, in the site prep, you would often need to create some secondary outbuilding or portable building or something so that that building can continue functioning. So, in this case, we have that path. Um, and then I'll build this second building right here. And then, did I throw a window? Yeah. Okay. So, on this floor plan with the site prep phase, I've now built this. And you can see that as I change through these, they're going to kind of change their line thickness or their line weight. That's completely normal, and that's indicating that the dark stuff is what is being added. And then next up in the demo phase, what we're going to do is we're going to demo this old building right here. So right here in the options and the properties, we've got phase demolished. So again, back to that timeline I mentioned earlier, there's a phase where things are created and a phase where things are demolished. Typically, when you're working with new construction, things are created and then they exist as far as the documents are concerned in perpetuity. But in the case of actually doing what we're doing here, these are going to be demolished at a certain point. So if I change this to existing demo, you can see that the lines have changed to that dash. And what that indicates is that um, this is being destroyed, or it's being removed or deleted, um, typically through just, well, getting rid of it. So um, that's what we want to see when we have a correct demo phase as we work through a project, is this being turned into these stashed lines. Now, once we've done that, then we can get to the new construction, and you can see here in my new construction phase that this is gone, and now we have this space open while we still have this building here. And then I can come in and I can build my big new fancy building that we wanted all along. Ah, missed it. All right. And so now if I go to, oh sorry, that was the new construction. Okay, yeah. So let me jump back through the order. So we have our existing. Let me zoom out here. We have our site prep. Oh, I guess I can just click through these. All right. So we have our existing site. We have our site prep. We have our existing demo, and we have our new construction. And so you can see that as we jump through those phases, we have first that path being built. Then we have um, the what was it? It was the path and the building being built and the site prep. Then we have the demo, and then we have that new construction. So as this project moves through phases, you would need to document all these different things. And so that's where um, I've said over and over again, you need to be very accurate about how you kind of go in and name things, because a project like this might end up needing a whole bunch of documentation, because now not only are you documenting the new construction that you're doing, you're also going to have to document um, what it is that you're going to be building as the temporary building, and you'll also have to document what it is that you're going to be demoing. So, um, I hope that makes that clear. It's kind of a complex process, but it's something that is super critical for actually being prepared to work on a full project. So, I will see you guys in class. Cheers.